Hello and welcome to Nullitaire Gaming, where we play games with 0 players, or in other words, we play bots against one another. And in this series, we've been playing Imperium, both classics and legends, which is a game by Nigel Buckle and David Terzi. Okay, and we've been playing a tournament. We put all the nations up against each other in a single elimination style tournament. And we've played a lot of that tournament so far. If you haven't seen any of it, I recommend going and watching it from the beginning. I'll put a link in the description of this video to the entire playlist so you can go back and watch it from the beginning if you like. Okay, so let's look at where we are in the tournament so far. Here's the bracket. We've played the entirety of the first round, and we're almost done with the second round. We have one more game to go. And it will be the Chin versus the Celts. Okay, so we'll set up that game and get going. Okay, the game is set up. As usual, I selected who would be first player randomly. This time it's the Chin. And so their deck is here, lined up with the top row, which will represent the first player. And the Celts will be second player. Their deck is here, lined up with the second row, which will represent their hand. Okay, and as usual, I've covered up the tables that are not relevant to keep me from accidentally looking at the wrong thing. So that's what these post-it notes are all about. And one other thing, the Chin have a special rule that only applies to them, and that's at the end of their turn, when a bot would normally place progress in the market, instead they'll place population. Okay. Okay, and the Dynasty decks again are sort of set back away so I don't accidentally draw the wrong cards. Okay, I think everything is ready to go. Okay, the Chin are up first. Here we go. Well, the Chin come out swinging and they roll a 6, so they're going to play all of their cards to start with. And Prosperity will be the first such card, which has no markings on it at all. So unless it's named on their chart, which it is not, they'll play it as an other card. Okay, gain 1 material and 1 population per bot region in play. Well, they haven't put any regions in play yet, we just started. So, they won't gain anything there. If able, return an unrest from the discard pile. They don't have a discard pile yet, so that does nothing. Put this card in history. Well, they can do that. Okay, so that's all they'll do. So Prosperity goes into history. The next card is School of Diplomacy, which is an attack card. So they do have that icon on their chart. If able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. If you have at least 1 region in play, you recall a region. So you here means the solitaire player. These bots were designed for solitaire play. Because we're using them in a Nullitaire game, you will be reinterpreted to mean the opposing bot. So they're saying to make the opposing bot, the Celts, recall a region. And the bot abandons a region if able. Okay, well, the Chin do not have at least 1 region in play, so that's irrelevant. But they can still acquire a region, so they'll just do that part. There are 2 regions in the market. Bots always take the card in the market worth the most. So Step here is worth nothing, and Mountain is worth 1. So they will take Mountain. They acquire it by simply putting it on their deck. The next card is Duke Zhuang of Qin, which is a barbarian card. That's the only symbol on it, so barbarian. If able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. And no, they don't have any population right now. Otherwise, if able, spend 1 material to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. Can't do that either. They don't have any materials. Otherwise, gain 1 material and 1 population. Put this card into history. Okay, so they'll gain 1 of each, and this card will go into history. Next card is Unrest. That simply goes to the Unrest pile. Last card for Qin is Legalism, which is a pinned card. Okay, so pinned here. Add 1 population to the market card in the slot matching the number on the die. Well, they rolled a 6, so there is no market card in that slot. There's no 6th slot in the market. So that does nothing. Acquire a card that has 1 or more population on it. There are no such cards in the market. No population has been placed yet. Put this card into history. You may draw a card. Okay, so these last 2 things can happen. The card will go into history, and you may draw a card. You, again, refers to the opposing bot in our interpretation of Nullitaire play here. So the Celts may draw a card. Well, bots don't have hands in the traditional sort of sense. They have a hand in sort of this sense, but they don't draw cards to it. So whenever a bot is told that they may draw a card, they simply discard the top card of their deck. So that's what's going to happen. This card, Legalism, is going to go into history, and the Celts will discard a card. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Qin. They do not place any population, as they normally would, into a slot in the market because they rolled a 6. Again, there is no 6th slot in the market. So they will simply refill their hand. The Celts' turn now. They roll a 1 and start by playing Cauldron of Ceridwen, or something similar. Okay, which is a pin card. So let's take a look here. We always go with the first thing that's relevant to the card. Okay, so looks like we're going to get to pinned. Okay, put this card into history. You take Unrest. So you, again, refers to the other bot. So the Qin are going to be forced to take some Unrest. So the Qin will have to take some Unrest, which means they just put that on top of their deck. Next card for the Celts, Unrest. Okay, so that just goes to the Unrest pile, and we move on. Next card is, another one. All right, well, this is easy. And the next card, Druids. Okay, this card has no symbols on it at all. So unless we see the name Druids in here, which we do not, it will be Other. If able, return an Unrest from the discard pile. I don't think they have any in their discard pile. Yeah, they only have 1 card there. It's not Unrest. So they cannot do that. Gain 1 progress. They can definitely do that. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Okay, that means discard their own card. When it says the bot on these charts, it's referring to this bot. Okay, so they'll gain progress and discard the top card of their deck. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. So they'll place progress on the number 1 card in the market, and they will refill their hand. They didn't quite have enough cards to refill their hand. They ran out. So that means a card from the Dynasty deck goes into discard, and they will shuffle. Okay, the Qin's up now. They roll a 4, and they start with Mountain, which is a region. It's also pinned, but region comes first. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card from the market, discard the top card from the bot deck. Okay, lots to do, and they can do all of that. When bots exile cards from the market, they simply take the card furthest to the left that has no tokens on it. So since leadership has a token on it, they'll skip that and exile agriculture. Next card is Advance, which is a barbarian card. Okay, so that comes up first. If able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. They only have 2 population right now, so no. Otherwise, if able, spend 1 material to acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. Yes, they can do that. They have 1 material, so they will do that. Otherwise, okay, they won't do that. And then this card will go into history. There are 3 cards in the market with these civilized or uncivilized icons, or both. So they will take the one with that's worth the most victory points. Both of these have asterisks, which we always treat as 5 victory points. But this one has a progress token on it, so that adds 1. So, moneylenders, they will acquire, including the progress and including the unrest. So that means they put it right on top of their deck with the unrest on top. Next card is another region, Western Zhou. Okay, so we're going to get a repeat of region. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card, and discard the top card from the bot deck. This time they exile Macedonians. Last card for the Qin is Confucianism, a pinned card. So add 1 population to the market card in the slot matching the number on the die. Okay, they can do that this time because they didn't roll a 6. Acquire a card that has 1 or more population on it. Put this card into history, and then the Celts discard a card. So they added a population to the card in the 4 slot, which is the number on the die. And now that's the only card that has any population on it, so they will acquire it. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Qin. And they place population now, not progress, on the card in the 4 slot. And they slide that card down and refill their hand. They didn't quite have enough cards to fill their hand. They ran out, so top card from the Dynasty deck, and they will shuffle. The Celts' turn now. They roll a 3, and they start with Glory. It doesn't have any symbols on it, but I do think it's named here. Yeah, right there, Glory. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top Fame card. No, the Celts don't have any regions in play. Otherwise, discard the top Dynasty card, and you take Unrest. Oh, okay. So they're going to take the top Dynasty card. Interesting. Put it into discard. And then they will force the Qin to take some Unrest. Next card is Conquer, which is a barbarian card, but I know from previous experience that Conquer's a named card. This caused a big problem in a previous game in this series. So if you've seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, if able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. No, they don't have any population. Otherwise, if able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, you take Unrest. Okay, so they're going to acquire a region. There's only 1 region in the market, so they will acquire Steppe. Next card is Advance, also a barbarian card. I think this one is not named here. Yeah, okay, so barbarian. Breakthrough for Uncivilized. Put this card into history. Okay. When bots break through, they still just pick something from the market if it's available. If it's not available, then they'll go to the decks and try to break through there. Okay, so we have 2 cards with the Uncivilized icon. This one is worth 5 because it has the asterisk. This one is worth 1 plus another 1 for the progress. Okay, so they're going to take Watermill, and including the population that's on it. Because they're breaking through, they will not take the Unrest. Simply put that on top of their deck. Last card for the Celts is Druids, which does not have any symbols on it at all, and I don't think is named either. So, other. If able, return an Unrest from the discard pile. I'll have to check and see if they have any. Gain a progress, they can definitely do that. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Okay, they can definitely do that. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. They'll place progress on the 3 card in the market, and they will refill their hand. I'm not sure if they have enough cards to do that. I don't think so. No, they do not. Okay, so they will take another dynasty card and shuffle. Okay, the Qin roll a 6 again, so they're going to play all their cards, starting with Mandate of Heaven, which is a pinned card. Okay, so that will be here. Add 1 population to the market card in the slot matching the number on the die. Well, once again, that's a 6, so there is no market card matching that number, so they won't do that. Acquire a card that has 1 or more population on it. There aren't any. But they can put this card into history, and they can make the Celts discard a card, so they will do those 2 things. Next card is Unrest, and then Oracle, which is a barbarian card, and it's uncivilized. Okay, barbarian. If able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. Yes, they can do that. They have more than 3 population now. Otherwise, okay, and then this card will go into history. The only tributary in the market is Minoans, so they will break through for that. Next card is Moneylenders, which is an empire, as well as civilized card. Okay. I don't see any of those. Okay, so other. Gain a material and a population per region in play. So the Qin have 2 regions in play, so they get 2 of each. If able, return an Unrest from the discard pile. They don't have a discard pile right now. And then this card will go into history. Last card for the Qin is School of Diplomacy, which is an attack card. So if able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. If you have at least 1 region in play, oh, interesting. Okay, if you have at least 1 region in play. I didn't notice that the last time I looked at this. So the U there must be referring to the other bot. Okay, in any case, the Celts have not had any regions in play the whole game, so that makes no difference. They don't have any regions in play now either. We'll have to keep that in mind. Okay, if you have at least 1 region in play, that you means the solitaire player. It's weird that they didn't boldface all of this. Generally speaking, when they're referring to the solitaire player, they boldface it. Okay. All right, in any case, this is still not relevant because the Celts still don't have any regions in play. Okay, so all they're going to do is acquire a region. They will acquire a river. That's the end of the turn for the Qin. They don't place any population because they rolled 6. They will simply refill their hand. The Celts begin their turn by rolling a 4, and they play Celtica, which is a region card. So, gain a population, a material, play the card, and exile a card. They're going to exile mercenaries. The next card is another region, Steppe. So we're going to get a repeat here. Gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, exile the card. They will exile these Sumerians. And the next card is another region, Armorica. So we'll get another repeat. Gain 1 of each, play the region, exile a card. They will exile lakes. And it's not a region this time. It's our old friend the Conquer card. Okay. So, if able, spend 3 population. Yeah, they just got a bunch for all those regions. To break through for a tributary. Okay, they will do that. Otherwise. Okay, so they won't do these last 2 things. Just that. There are no tributaries in the market, so they're going to have to go to the deck. Oh, it's the very first one. Phoenicians. So they will break through for that. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. It will place Progress on the 4 card in the market. Slide that card down and refill their hand. Back to the Qin now. They roll a 3, and they begin with River, a region card. And so they are going to gain a population, play the region, exile a card, and discard the top card of their deck. They will exile Elders. The next card is Minoans, a tributary. It also has Barbarian, which will be the first thing. If able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, okay, and then this card will go into history. They will break through for the Persians. Next card is Unrest, and then more Unrest. Okay. So that's the end of their turn. They'll place a population on the 3 card in the market, and they will refill their hand, but they only have 1 card in their deck. So that means another card from the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. The Celts roll a 5 to start their turn, and they'll play Cattle Raid, which is attack and Barbarian. Okay, oh, attack right at the top. Okay. Steal 1 material and 1 progress. Oh, alright. Oh, they'll just take that and take that. Okay. There we go. Next card is Phoenicians, a tributary. All the way down here, it's tributary. Discard the top 4 cards of the bot deck. Wow, okay. And put this card into history. Next card is Glory again. Okay. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. Yes, they can do that. They have exactly 3 regions in play. So they will abandon them, means they will take them and put them into the discard pile, and they will acquire the top fame card for doing so. Okay, is that all we have to do for Glory? Otherwise, okay, that's it. Last card for the Celts is a region, Belgica. So, they will gain a population and a material, play the region, and exile a card. They will exile Port. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Celts. They will place Progress on the 5 card and refill their hand. I believe they only have 1 card in their deck, yes. Okay, so another card off the Dynasty deck, and they will shuffle. Back to the Chin now. They roll a 4 and begin with some Unrest. And then a tributary, the Persians. Okay, they don't have tributary on their chart. Okay, so other. Gain a material and a population per region in play. Okay, so the Chin have 3 in play, so they'll get 3 of each. If able, return an Unrest from the discard pile. They don't have a discard pile. And this card will go into history. Next card is Writing Systems, which is a pinned card. So, add 1 population to the market card in the slot matching the number on the die. Acquire a card that has 1 or more population on it. Put this card into history, and then the Celts will discard a card. So they added a population to the 4 card in the market, but they're actually going to take this card, Exports, because it's worth more. So they will acquire that. Last card for the Chin is School of Diplomacy again, which is an attack card. If able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. If you have at least 1 region in play. Okay, so now that means the Celts. The Celts have at least 1 region in play. They recall the region, and the Chin abandon a region if able. Okay, now this is true. The Celts do have a region in play, so this will happen. So there's only 1 region in the market, so the Chin are going to acquire a fortified region. The Celts will now recall their 1 region, Belgica. So to recall it means to put it back on top of their deck. And the Chin will abandon 1 of their regions. So the last one in play was River, and so they will discard it. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Chin. They place Population on the 4 card in the market. Slide that card down, and they will refill their hand. I'm not sure they have enough cards here. No, they don't. They're 1 shy. Okay, so another card off the Dynasty deck, and they will shuffle. The Celts now roll a 5, and they start with Watermill, which is a pinned card, and it's uncivilized. So, uncivilized. Okay, that comes first. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. Otherwise, gain a population. Put this card into history, and you take unrest. Okay, they can acquire an uncivilized card, so they'll do that. Okay. So there are two cards in the market that are uncivilized, Leadership and Code of Laws. They're both worth the same number of victory points. They each have one written on them, and they each have one progress token, so they're each worth 2. So they're tied for victory points. The first tiebreaker is whichever card has the most tokens on it. And Code of Law has the most tokens because it has some population on it. So they will take that. Okay, the next card is a Fame card, Acclaimed. Okay, so Fame. Spend all materials to gain the same number of progress. Okay, well they have 5. So they'll turn those 5 materials into 5 progress. And this card will go into history. Next card is a region, Celtica. So, gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, and exile the card. They will exile urban development. Next card is Druids, which has no markings on it at all. So we'll get to other. If able, return an unrest from discard pile. I don't think they have any there, but I'll check. Gain a progress, discard the top card of the bot deck. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. They'll place progress on the 5 card in the market. Slide that card down, and they will refill their hand. The Chin turn again. They roll a 2 and start with some unrest. And then, boring. Okay, something interesting. Okay, exports, which is an attack card, and Empire. So civilized. Okay, so attack. If able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. If you have at least 1 region in play, meaning the Celts, yes, they do. They'll have to recall it, and the Chin will abandon a region. So the Chin will acquire grassland, which is worth the most among the regions. The Celts will recall Celtica. And the Chin will abandon Western Jeu. Okay. Last card for the Chin is Glory, which says, if able, abandon 2 regions. Well, they just were forced to abandon one of their regions, so now they only have 1 region in play. So they're going to miss out on this. Alright, they're going to break through for a region. The 2 regions in the market are both worth 0 victory points, and they have the same number of tokens, which again is 0. So the next tiebreaker is the card that's furthest to the left in the lowest numbered slot. So they will take Cape. That's the end of the turn for the Chin. They'll place a population on the 2 in the market, slide that card down, and refill their hand. Okay, back to the Celts. They roll a 3 and start with a little unrest. And then Code of Laws, which is pinned, and an uncivilized card. I think uncivilized will come first. Yeah. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, gain a population, put the card into history, and you take unrest. Okay, so they'll just do the first thing. There are 3 uncivilized cards in the market. This one is worth 2. This one's worth 1. And this one is worth 2. When you see the question mark, we always go with whatever the highest number listed next to it is. So in this case it says 2 VP, if in history. So this will just be worth 2. Okay, so 2 are leadership and town are both tied for 2. First tiebreaker is the most tokens, so that's leadership. The next card for the Celts is Boudica, which is attack and barbarian. Okay, so it looks like the attack icon is first. So steal a material and a progress. Okay, they'll go take 1 of each from the Chin. Last card for the Celts is a region, Steppe. So, gain a population and material, play the region, exile a card. They will exile hills. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. They will place progress on the 3 card in the market. Slide that card down and refill their hand. The Qin now start their turn by rolling a 3, and they play Fortified Region, which of course is a region. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card from the market, discard the top card of the bot deck. They will exile Island. The next card is another region, Cape, so we're going to get a repeat. They gain a population, play the region, exile a card, and discard the top card of the deck. They will exile the Carthaginians. Next card is another region, and so once again, they'll get a population, play the region, exile a card, and discard the top card of their deck. Now they will exile boats. And the last card for them is School of Diplomacy. That attack card again. So if able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. If you have at least one region in play, meaning the Celts, yes, they do. They'll have to recall it, and the Qin will abandon a region. So the Qin will acquire forest, and then the Celts will recall their region, put it back on top of their deck, and the Qin will have to abandon the last region they put in play, which is river, so that will go in their discard pile. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Qin. They'll place population on the 3 card in the market, slide that card down. They'll refill their hand. They only have 1 card left in their deck. So, another card off the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. The Celts begin their turn by rolling a 5, and they play a region, Belgica. So, they will gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, and exile a card. They will exile the Ionians. Next card is Unrest. And then the next card is Leadership, which is both civilized and uncivilized. So it looks like uncivilized. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, okay, that's it. They're just going to acquire an uncivilized card. This time, Town is worth the most. It's worth 2. The others are only worth 1. So they'll take that. The last card for the Celts is Celtica, the region. And so they will gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, and exile a card. They will exile Espionage. That's it for the Celts. Place Progress on the 5 card in the market. Slide that card down and refill their hand. The Qin roll a 1 this time and start with a region, Forest. So they will gain a population, play the region, exile a card, and discard the top card of their deck. They will exile the Hittites. And we get another region, River. And so we'll have a repeat here. They'll gain a population, play the region, exile the card, discard the top card of their deck. They will exile City. Oh, what a surprise. Another region, Western Zhou. Okay, same thing. Gain a population, play the region, exile a card, discard the top card. They will exile Metropolis. And what would Western Zhou be without Eastern Zhou? So this is a whole hand of nothing but regions for the Qin. Okay, so you know what that means. More population, play the region, exile the card, discard the top card. They will exile Oasis. Okay, that's it for the Qin. They will place a population on the 1 card in the market. They'd like to refill their hand, but they discarded every card in their deck for playing all those regions. So, you take a Dynasty card, and lo and behold, it's the Full Moon card there. Long Walls 1. As soon as that goes in the discard pile, they become an Empire. Okay, so they'll shuffle up and refill their hand. Back to the Celts now. They roll a 4, and they start with Cattle Raid, which is attack and barbarian. So attack will be first. Steal a material and a progress. Okay, so they'll take 1 of each from the Qin. Next card is Unrest. So we'll simply go back to the pile. And the next card is Town, which is pinned and barbarian and uncivilized. Okay, uncivilized comes right before barbarian. So Uncivilized. If able, acquire another uncivilized card. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, do all that. Okay, so not going to do that. Just acquire an uncivilized card. All the uncivilized cards in the market are worth 1, so they're all tied in that respect. First tiebreaker is most tokens. So Elders and Art both have 1 token each. So they're both tied in that respect. Second tiebreaker is the one furthest to the left. So they'll take Elders. And the Celts end on Conquer. So if able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. Yes, they can do that. Otherwise, if able, acquire a region. Otherwise, take Unrest. Okay, so they can spend the 3 to break through for a tributary. There are no tributaries in the market, so they're going to have to go to the deck until they find one. Oh, found one right away. It's the Greeks. So they will take that. It's the end of the turn, so the Celts will place Progress on the 4 card in the market. Slide this card down and refill their hand. The Chin begin their turn by rolling a 1, and they play the Glory card. They are now an Empire, so we're looking at a different chart now. So we'll have to get accustomed to this one. Okay, Glory is a named card right here. If able, abandon 2 regions, they can definitely do that, to gain the top Fame card. Otherwise, if able, discard the top card of the Dynasty deck. Otherwise, gain 2 Progress. Okay, they can do that first thing. They'll abandon 2 regions. We'll just take the last 2 regions they played, put them into discard, and they will gain the top Fame card for doing so. Here is School of Diplomacy again, but it might play a different way now. So this is an attack card. If able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. If you have at least 1 region in play, okay, you again meaning the Celts, you recall a region, and the Chin abandoned region. Okay. So they will acquire Fortunate Isle. The Celts will recall the last region they put into play, put it on top of their deck, and the Chin will abandon the last region they played, so that goes into their discard. Here are the long walls for the Chin. So it's a pinned card and an Empire card. So let's see what they want to do with that. Okay, pinned is here. If able, return an Unrest from discard. Don't think they have any, but I'll look. If able, acquire a card that has 1 or more population on it. Okay, there are 2 such cards, so they can do that. And then this card will go to history. So there are 2 cards that have population on them. Amphitheater is worth the most, so I'll take that. Last card for the Chin is Exports. Which I still find it amusing that this is an attack card. How do you attack with exports? Anyway, it's attack and it's Empire and it's civilized. So it looks like attack is first. If able, acquire a region. Yes, they can do that. And if the Celts have at least 1 region in play, they do. They'll have to recall it, and the Chin will abandon a region. So they will acquire a peninsula. And then the Celts will recall Belgica, and the Chin will abandon the forest. That's the end of the turn. For the Chin, they'll place population on the 1 card and refill their hand. The Celts roll a 6, so they will play all of their cards, starting with a region, Steppe. So that will be here. Gain a population and a material. Play the region, exile a card. So they will exile Cataphract. It's the first card that has no tokens on. Next card is Greeks, which is a tributary. It's also pinned and an Empire card. We'll see if any of that is interesting to the Celts. Pinned comes before tributary. Okay, so pinned it is. Put this card into history, and you take Unrest, so that means the Chin take Unrest. Next card is Unrest. And then Elders which is an uncivilized card. So if able to acquire an uncivilized card, yes, they can do that. Otherwise, do that, blah, blah. Okay, so they're just going to acquire an uncivilized card. So all the uncivilized cards have a value of 1 printed on them, but diplomacy has a progress token on it, so it's worth 2. Last card for the Celts is a region, Armorica. So they'll gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, exile a card. They will exile Cataphract. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. They won't place any progress because they rolled a 6. They'll simply refill their hand. Chin's turn now. They roll a 4, and they start with Grassland, a region. So they will play it, exile a card. Add 1 population to the market card in the slot matching the number on the die. They will exile Urban Development. And they'll place population on the 4 card. Next card is another region, Peninsula, so we're going to get a repeat. I'm going to play it, exile a card, and add a population to the market. They will exile Education. And they will add another population to Shaduf. Next card is Unrest. And the last card for the Chin is another region. Just like last turn, they played nothing but regions. They're doing it again. Fortunate Isle. This is a Barbarian card, though, so that might make a difference to how it's played. Yeah, Barbarian is actually the first thing. So, spend all materials to gain the same number of population. Okay. Discard the top card from the bot deck and put this card into history. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Chin, so they'll place another population on the 4 card in the market and refill their hand. They only have 1 card left in their deck. So, back to the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. Okay, the Celts roll a 6, so they're going to play all of their cards, beginning with a bit of Unrest. Okay, so next card will be Diplomacy, both civilized and uncivilized. So I think it's going to be uncivilized. Yeah. If able, acquire another uncivilized card. Otherwise, do all that. Okay, so they can acquire an uncivilized card. They'll do that. The one worth the most victory points is Shaduf. It has that asterisk, which makes it worth 5. So they'll take that. Next card is a region, Belgica. So, region. Gain a population material, play the region, exile a card from the market. They will exile Pharmacy. Okay, the main deck is now fully depleted. Therefore, game end has now been triggered. So we will finish this round, which ends with the Celts, and play 1 more round. So the Chin will get 1 more turn, the Celts will get 1 more turn. And that'll be the end of the game. We'll see who wins. Next card for the Celts is Celtica, a region. So once again, gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, exile a card. They will exile Metropolis. Last card is Glory. So, if able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. Yes, they can do that. That's all they're going to do. So that's the end of the Celts' turn. They don't place progress because they rolled a 6. They'll just refill their hand. I don't think they have enough cards to do it, though. No, only have 3. Okay, so 1 more card from the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. Okay, so this is the last round of the game. The Chin will have a turn, and then the Celts will have a turn, and then that will be it. And the Chin start by rolling a 6. And they play Amphitheater, which is pinned and civilized, and an Empire card. So let's see what they're interested in. Pinned here. Yeah. If able, return an Unrest from discard. They don't have a discard pile right now. If able, acquire a card that has 1 or more population on it. Yes, they can do that. Put this card into history. Well, there are 2 cards with population on them right now. They're both worth 1. They both have exactly 1 token, so they'll take the one on the left. Next card is a Fame card, Triumphant. So put this card into history. Add 1 population to the market card in the slot matching the number on the die. Well, they rolled a 6 again, so there is no number. This card will simply go into history. Here are the vicious exports again. Attack is the predominant mode here. Okay, if able, acquire a region. There are no regions in the market anymore. If you have at least 1 region in play, that means the Celts, yes they do, they will recall it and the Qin will abandon a region. Okay, so the Celts will recall step here, put it on top of their deck, and the Qin will abandon their latest region, which is Peninsula. Next card is Unrest, and then the last card for the Qin for this game is School of Diplomacy. An attack card again, so there are no regions to acquire in the market, and the Celts don't have any regions in play, so they can't do any of that. Okay, so this is yeah, this is ineffective. It doesn't do anything. So we carry on down the line looking for the next thing that matches our card. It's not pinned, it's not Empire. Okay, so we're going to get to other. Acquire any card. Okay, there's still some cards to acquire. If able, spend a population to gain a progress. Yeah, they can do that. And put this card into history. Okay. So all the cards left in the market are worth exactly 1. So they'll take the one that has a token on it, which is art. Okay, that's it for the Qin for this game. They rolled a 6, so they don't place any population. They've got plenty of cards to refill their hand, so they're not going to get any more Dynasty cards. Okay, that'll be it for them. Okay, this is the last turn of the game. The Celts, they start by rolling a 2, and they play a Fame card, Proud. Okay, so Fame. Spend all materials to gain the same number of progress. Put this card into history. They do have some materials, yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow. Okay. So you're going to spend all that for 10 progress. Next card is Sharuf, which is uncivilized and pinned. But uncivilized should be first. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. Yes, they can still do that. There are still some in the market. So that's what they'll do. They're both worth 1 victory point each. They have no tokens, so they'll take the one on the left, City. And the next card is another uncivilized card, so the same thing again. They will take, acquire an uncivilized card. There's only 1 card left in the whole market, and it happens to be uncivilized, so they will take it. Last card of the game for the Celts, wouldn't you know it, it's another uncivilized card. This time they're not going to be able to acquire one, though. The market's completely empty. So they'll gain a population, put this card into history, and force the Qin to take some unrest. Alright, that's it for the Celts and for the whole game. They would place progress on the 2 card in the market, but the market's completely empty. So we just have to check and see that they have enough cards to fill their hand. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so no more Dynasty cards for them. That's the end of the game. Let's find out who won. So as usual, I like to determine the winner by simply matching up victory points 1 for 1, rather than counting them all up and seeing who has the higher number. We'll just match them up 1 for 1, and whoever has some victory points left at the end will be the one who had more victory points, and so therefore they will have won. Okay, let's start with the tokens first. Interestingly, the Celts never became an empire. In fact, never even seemed interested really in being an empire. They were collecting uncivilized cards like it was going out of style. So they weren't really churning through their dynasty deck at all. I don't see how they could ever become an empire in the course of a game playing the way they were. I mean, each uncivilized card just made more uncivilized cards. They reproduced basically in their deck. So their deck was just really clogged with uncivilized cards. Okay, so they seem more interested in being uncivilized than in being an empire. Okay, so let's compare tokens first. The Qin had 4 progress tokens at the end of the game, and so we can match that up with 4 tokens over here, so we'll take those out of the way. And that leaves the Celts with 20 progress. They collected a lot of progress throughout the game, even stealing it from the Qin. Okay, and also population and materials markers count for 1 progress per 10. So this 10 here counts as 1 progress, and this 10 over here counts as 1 progress. So we can match those up 1 for 1, and there aren't enough left on either side to make any more progress, so those are just worthless. Okay, so after that, the Celts still have 20 victory points. So let's go find 20 victory points worth of cards in the Qin deck to balance that out. Okay, so we have found 20 victory points worth of cards in the Qin deck. They have this Fame card, Triumphant, it's worth 11. This Terracotta Warriors card has the question mark, so it's worth the highest value listed, so it's worth 7. That's 18, and another 2 points for Fortunate Isle. Okay, so that eliminates those 20 points. Interestingly, both decks had some negative card values. 4 unrest cards in the Celts deck and 3 unrest cards in the Qin deck, plus the Mandate of Heaven, which is negative 2 victory points for them. So these exactly cancel out, interestingly, so we can just get rid of those. Okay, so as usual, I've lined up the cards in columns under their respective nations, and we'll go down the column matching up victory point for victory point, and we'll see who runs out of cards in their column first. That will be the losing faction. Okay, so going down the line here, we have a Fame card on the Celt side. It's worth 12 victory points, so we're matching that up with all those cards. These cards are all asterisks, so they're worth 5 points each. So matching up those cards. And the Celts ran out of those asterisk cards first. Now we're getting down to the low value cards. 1, and aha. The Qin ran out first, but not by much. The Celts have just 4 victory points left. So the Celts win by 4. That's it. And I'm shocked. I thought, you know, when I saw those 20 progress tokens left over for the Celts, I thought, well, there's no way the Qin are going to be able to make that up. But surprisingly, they did. They did a lot better job collecting victory points in cards than the Celts did. And that may be because the Celts were so focused on the uncivilized cards, which are, in general, perhaps not worth as much. Okay. Anyway, the Celts pull it out just barely by a 4-point victory margin. All right, there we have it. The Celts have won this game against the Qin, and that completes the second round. We're now entering the semifinals. The Egyptians will play the Atlanteans, and the Macedonians will play the Celts. The winners of those two will go on to the final match to determine the winner of the overall tournament. Okay, so our next video will put the Egyptians up against the Atlanteans. I hope you will join me then. Until then, bye.